Hola amigos and welcome to this new episode of Spanish Loops. Hola Jorge,
Hola.
how are you fool?
I'm okay, thank you. The reason why Fran just called me fool, you'll find out only if you watch us in YouTube.
If you
Okay?
know, it's okay. Anyway, Jorge, it is from travelingwithjorge.com
Yeah,
and this is Fran from travelingthesteps.es. Welcome to Spanish Loops. Let's get some music and let's learn what we're going to be talking about today.
let's go for it.
So, as we said, hello everybody, and welcome to this new episode of Spanish Loops. Today, Jorge, what is going to be today's topic? What are we going to be talking
Oh,
about?
we're gonna be talking about pirates and corsairs.
Pirates and Corsairs
Yeah,
in Spain as well.
yeah. Obviously,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Spanish loops, Spain,
okay,
but it's gonna be spread a little bit over. But
okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's gonna be mainly.
But let's start from the very beginning. What on earth is a pirate and what on earth is a Corsair? Because
Yeah.
we always use them like pirates, Corsairs. It's the same when it's not, I guess.
No, it's not. It's not. No.
Okay.
There is a big difference. Okay, Corsairs. They
Mhm.
operated under an official authorization from a government.
Okay, so they're official pirates.
They were official,
Smugglers?
not pirates, because the pirates has a different meaning.
Okay, so
So
what's a pirate?
how would you call today if you are a very wealthy man and you want to take over somewhere and you pay some people to do it? How you call those people?
That intermediary or son of a gun? I don't know.
Or maybe seekers?
Okay, a seeker. Okay,
That could be more or less just to get in our 2 days brain what was a corsair. Okay,
okay,
but it was paid under a government, so it was a legal thing to do. They were following instructions,
okay, okay.
whatever the
So,
instructions, but they were following those instructions.
okay,
That's a corsair, right?
okay.
Pirates, they acted on their own, no
Oh,
permission, stealing from any vessel they found for their own benefit. Francisco, that is the big difference. So
okay,
corsairs were, in effect, legal pirates, as you said earlier, acting in the name of crown. And at the end of the war, they had to stop their activity.
okay. So, and whatever the Corsairs would get the money from stealing that boat, they would have to give it to the crown or to whoever they're.
There was an agreement. It could be either a percentage or maybe a
Okay.
fixed amount, whatever, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
that was the difference, the big difference among those two concepts. Okay.
Okay. So, and we have Corsairs British, we have French Corsairs. Do you have Spanish Corsairs?
Wait a minute. Let's
Okay, 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 okay.
hold on. Let's go step by step. Let's go. There was objectives,
Okay.
targets, and it was. Um, for instance, the Corsairs they attack and loot ships of specific rival nations during those wars. Okay, and the revelation they were subject to a protocol that assigned zones and prey, and if they broke the rules, they could be treated as pirates.
Oh,
So that's why they have to follow that protocol. Okay.
okay.
Now, what about the pirates? And legally they acted outside of the law without any government authorization. The objective was to steal from any ship they find. Doesn't matter the flag of the ship, okay, and the nationality, or even if they were at war or not. Whoever
Okay.
was sailing, it was a pirate, and they said, "Oh, money, just go and get it," right? And then regulation. None,
Nothing.
none. And the code of conduct, it wasn't existent at the time. And what about the profit? Obviously, the
Oh, for
Corsairs,
captain.
the profit was for the whoever was paying them with a percentage or a fixed salary, but for the pirates, all the profit were for them. That
Oh.
is the big difference, okay?
Okay, makes sense.
Mhm. So now talking about the Corsairs as well, for 200 years, Corsairs and also pirates with Spanish galleons, right?
Okay.
For 200 years, the pirates and corsairs and filibusters, that's another interesting word, they tried to seize the American riches that the galleons of the Spanish fleet with treasures they were carrying into Spain. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now, here, believe it or not, Sevilla plays a big role into all that.
Hold it. Sevilla?
Yeah,
Sevilla is not in the coast, it's inland.
very
As
good
far as
point.
I
That's right.
know, pirates are from the
Very,
ocean.
very, very good point. Yeah. Sevilla is 60 kilometers, like maybe 40 miles inland from the Atlantic Ocean. There is a river which is the Guadalquivir, now called Guadalquivir because it's the Arabic name means the big river, and it was navigable since the Romans 2,000 years, more than 2,000 years ago. So what happened? They took advantage, the Spanish crown at the time, just to declare Sevilla the exclusivity port at the very beginning of the steps of when the vessels were crossing what today is the Atlantic, uh, just to get that final track inland because it was navigable and it was a port,
Oh,
a
okay.
harbor in Sevilla. So what happened when the vessels coming with all those treasures and richness and coins and gold and silver from the other side of the Atlantic, they really speeded up, taking advantage of some winds that comes from the Atlantic into the Mediterranean. I'll let you know why those winds are those that strong there. So it was like a race.
Oh.
So the moment they were into the mouth of the river, they were safe for the last track. That's why Sevilla was declared the port of the Americas. And the reason why those streams were so windy is that we have to go now a little bit into the geographical situation of the Iberian Peninsula, southwest of the European continent, and then we have north of Africa. What's there? The Strait of Gibraltar,
Okay.
a funnel that makes the winds go in both ways, in a very, very speedy way, in a speedy,
Okay.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That helped a lot of the time. Okay,
Okay. It
so
makes sense. Makes
yeah,
sense.
makes sense. So it was in 1507 when many Europeans rulers, they suspected, well, it was confirmed, the lands to which Christopher Columbus arrived in the West, it was a new and immense continent. We have mentioned here many times, Fran, and everybody else probably know, that Christopher Columbus died without knowing he found a huge portion of land before arriving to what in those days was the East.
It's.
Japan, China, India, all those places. Okay,
Mhm.
but well, Christopher Columbus, I say, he arrived in the West, where it was a new immense continent, and this was stated in an introduction of Ptolemy's cosmography. Those were the maps that they had
Okay.
from that Greek cartographer from the second century. All
Okay.
right. So, yeah. So, and here is the thing. Um, there was an opinion of a Florentine navigator, and I'm pretty sure you heard this name again. This name before, sorry. Americo Vespucci.
Murico Vespuccio.
Yeah, that's right. And then he was the very first cartographer that made a accurate map of that continent,
Of-
North and South America. We know that we consider a full continent. Okay,
Yes.
and
And the name comes from Americo Vespuccio.
correct. That's
Americo,
right. Yeah,
America.
that's right. So Spain no longer could maintain the secrecy about this new possession beyond
Oh.
the ocean blue. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
meanwhile, the information about the abundance of gold, silver, and pearls was arriving in Sevilla, the only Spanish port authorized to trade with those distant territories because of the reason I mentioned earlier. Okay? Well, so a little bit of history.
Okay.
All right?
Good. Love it.
Well, um, how can I put this in timeline? Let me think. Yeah, okay, good. Well, the route to the Indies in those days, called Indies, remained
Mhm.
unknown, and the Spanish crown kept maps and navigational charts safe. The doors of the ambition and greed had been opened, in fact, already on the third voyage of Christopher Columbus from 1498 to 1500. Colombo warned of the presence of French corsairs prowling the Azores, those islands that they were and they still are Portuguese territories in the North Atlantic. And a few years later, the conquistador Alfonso had a clash with the English, uh, navigation in Coquibacoa. Coquibacoa today is Venezuela's coast. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
right. Now, more conflicts with the British. The English privateer Thomas Cavendish decided to attack the route of the Manila Galleon, the ship that carried products from Asia to the Philippines. No, sorry, from the Philippines to Acapulco. Okay, and that was through the Atlantic, so the Pacific. So the Pacific was already discovered, and Acapulco, we all know that is in
Yeah,
Mexico, right?
Mexico.
And those galleons, they were almost unarmed. As a Spanish official confessed, they have always sailed with so little fear of corsairs if they were in the river of Sevilla. So they were trying to imitate that attitude. But anyway, that year, I think it was a 600-ton galleon, Santa Ana, covered the route. On board of that ship, Desire, very significant to his intentions, Cavendish was stationed near Cape San Lucas in Baja California, where Santa Ana arrived in the vicinity of the coast. Um, the Spaniards celebrated a religious festival on board, singing the Te Deum. The Te Deum is a religious anthem in Latin of thanksgiving to God, whatever achievement they made. And that was the
Okay.
moment that Cavendish and his troops took advantage to board it. That Englishman won 700,000 pesos in gold and silver and 1.5 million pesos in brocades, porcelains, and Chinese silks. Imagine,
One
Francisco.
single boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
His ship was too small to carry so much wealth. So
Wow.
he set fire and sank the Santa Ana with everything he could not take with him.
Oh,
How
son of a
twisted
gun.
minded. Okay. So the Spanish, obviously, they learned the lesson, and the Manila Galleon, it was not captured until 1709 by the Corsairs Woods Rogers. Okay. Now, let's go to the Caribbean,
Mhm.
Buccaneers and Filibusteers.
Okay. This is not Corsairs or pirates. Now we have
No.
Buccaneers.
Well, yeah, I know it might sound very tricky, but a meaning. At the beginning of the 17th century, the piracy moved to the Caribbean. Okay, piracy with pirates and buccaneers, right?
Mhm.
Corsairs, sorry, Corsairs. They were in the outer, not outer, in the Atlantic side of the Strait of Gibraltar
Okay.
because vessels with all those wealth that were coming from what today is America, right? That's where they were. Very few in the Mediterranean, very, very few. And then what happened? All that thing moved to the Caribbean, where all this traffic and all this merchandising and all this trading was happening among the Castilian colonies at the time. And when they moved there were hundreds of islands. There still are many hundreds of islands, and many of them deserted at the time. That constituted an ideal refuge group of French hunters called buccaneers. That's the French hunters. They were the buccaneers, settled north of Hispaniola and in the island of Tortuga, Tortuga Island.
S- So
Yeah,
the pirates in the Caribbean are buccaneers.
correct.
So the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp is a buccaneer of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp.
It doesn't sound very good. Pirates of the Caribbean, Buccaneers of the Caribbean. No, it doesn't sound good.
I think
Pirates.
Pirates is more commercial.
I think it is. I think we all know what is a pirate. A
Yeah,
buccaneer?
that's right.
Maybe not. Okay,
Well,
okay.
those first years they were very content to trade in the process of hunting, smuggling, immersion ships, but they soon allied themselves with Maroons and with French and English settlers. Um, in that way they disinherited Europeans who were looking for a new life. They began to raise Spanish merchants ships from their bases on land and soon expanded their operations by becoming filibusters. Another word that
Another
is
one.
pirates without owners. Yeah, I know. I know. One of these settlers recounted his experience, the first person. It was Alexander Oliver Exkesme. Oh, my goodness. Wait a minute. I need to read the name here. Esquemeling, yeah. He was a French gentleman that he joined the filibusters in the second half of the 1600s, and he went to America as with a French it's a French word to define that as an engagé, means like a semi-slave colonist. Okay, for 3 years he remained in Tortuga Island, and he was part of the Brotherhoods of the Coast, in Spanish, Hermanos de la Costa. It was another belonged to another brotherhood of filibusters where he met characters. I think it was Henry Morgan, one of them,
Okay.
right? So he even wrote a book, yeah, ex-Kemeling, oh my God, what name, described life as a pirate as a methods of assault. The filibusters attacked merchant ships of any flag they ready ventured against gunships. So that's very important. And always in the course of rapid riots from the coast, using small pinnaces and under cover of night. They approached from the stern, disabled and routed, and in this way they jumped on board to on the Spanish ships, and in less than an hour, you see a ship change ownership flag. So they say the chronicles at the time. Okay, so all this is like a kind of a, well, okay, it's chronicles. It could be when you write something, is your point of view.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
you
could be
need to know the
propaganda.
other side. Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, in 1715, the Spanish monopoly on trade with America was broken with the Treaty of Utrecht, and European nations finally settled in the Caribbean. Now the filibusters and buccaneers were no longer a tool to harass the Spaniards, but an enemy to beaten. Okay,
Okay, so the Treaty of Utrecht, which is
yeah.
1713,
So, actually, it
let's
was 1713, and I did mention 1715. It took 2 years to take
okay,
effect all
so
this. Yeah.
so
So
it is what ended the pirates or the rights of pirates, or I don't get it.
uh, actually, it made a change. It made a change, but they kept moving on with in a different attitude. For more than 2 centuries, the dream of pirates, privateers, filibusters, had been to capture treasures from fleet galleons, but the lucky ones were very few. And uh, Francisco, there were like 11,000 Spanish ships that they're estimated to have crossed the Atlantic in between mid 1500s and 1600s. 11,000 vessels. That's a lot. The pirates only captured barely 100. Most of them, they were merchant ships and not with much great wealth. This was due to the escort system. Okay, it serves as a model for the Allies during the Second World War. I mean, imagine Second World War. They were looking in how the Spanish vessels they were escorted by another escort, little small vessels, just with the big galleons in the center with all the wealth. If you imagine now, when you see photos of United States of America Navy, uh, you know,
Yeah, when they
uh,
move,
yeah, I mean, the big one, which is the carrier, is in the center and is surrounded by uh, quite a few vessels around, plus submarines. In those days, they didn't have submarines, but that is a copycat of what they did, the Spanish army in those days, and it was copied the very first time in World War II. Imagine, okay?
okay, so I had no idea
Yeah.
about this one.
So basically, that's the thing. Besides that, obviously today nowadays the vessels they are very very heavy, and you can go through hurricanes and big waves, etc., etc. We don't know exactly. Don't have. I mean, there are records, but not all of them. And for sure, many hundreds of those thousand vessels that crossed the Atlantic, they were either attacked and sunk or whatever. And there is, so we don't even know how many treasures there are in the bed of the ocean somewhere. Who knows? But anyway, this is a little bit about the Corsairs and Buccaneers, and the relationship with Spain when they were here in the southwest of the continent of the Iberian Peninsula. Sorry, the outer part of the Strait of Gibraltar. When they moved the whole thing, they moved to the Caribbean. I mean, it's where the money were. The pirates, the Buccaneers, the filibusters, however you call them, they were going to in those places.
Oh, it makes so much sense that
It does.
once the America commercial route with America
Hmm.
or the trading with America started,
Yep.
it is when the pirates took up. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, all of this gold, you get it, I'll
Hmm.
steal it from you. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
it's like,
let me just add just a couple of sentences here. I mentioned that Sevilla had the exclusivity of just to arrive there, the Spanish vessels, scored it, and
mhm,
then once you were in the river course, you were safe because you were in Castilian territory at the time. After the Treaty of Utrecht, so many things changed. For instance, Gibraltar was under the umbrella
the
of
British.
the United Kingdom, and then that was part of the treaty. Also, Sevilla wasn't that important anymore because all that movement of pirates and things they moved to the Caribbean. So that is why the port or the harbor for the Americas was moved to Cadiz, which is almost at the mouth of the river that flows through Sevilla. So, but that was a harbor at the just by the ocean. Okay.
It makes sense, a
Yeah,
lot of sense.
it does. Yeah.
Wow, Jorge, I'm blown up. I was like, you know so much about pirates. I feel like a little kid now. Is like, let's play pirates. No, and I love the Spanish connection. I think it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So to be talking in Spanish groups about pirates and the Caribbean and the whole thing,
It does. Yeah, it
and
does.
especially the Sevilla connection,
Yeah.
that for our listeners, if somebody wants to discover all of these stories of pirates and buccaneers in Sevilla, Jorge has an amazing, amazing tour on his website, Traveling with Jorge. That is the essence of southern Spain, right? Do
Correct.
you
That's the
and you
one. Yeah.
stay in Sevilla?
Yes, we stay. We stay. I mean, my tours are staycations, how I call them. But
Mhm.
Andalusia is large, right? It's like the state of Maine. So I had to divide that tour into stages. We're staying in Granada, and then we pass through Malaga, my hometown again. Sorry, I love it.
Oh no,
And then we and
don't
then
say
we
sorry.
stay.
It's one of the things about your tour, and I think the tour is amazing, but
Yeah,
what makes is that you are going to Malaga. There's so many other companies that they don't touch Malaga, and it is such a magnificent city. Besides being your birthplace, I know you love it just because of that, but the city itself, you have Roman ruins, you have food, you have the harbor, you have
Greek
the
ruins,
coast.
Muslim ruins. Yeah, we have everything in Malaga.
So,
Malaga, I mean, we have a chapter dedicated to Malaga, a
mhm.
city special. So, guys out there, just scroll back in our storyline and you'll find that chapter. It's very interesting. And then we moved to Sevilla and we stayed 5 nights in Sevilla. And Francisco, not only Sevilla, we also make a day trip to Cadiz.
Okay, so you're gonna see the entrance. I mean, it's like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So if
And
everybody
we do it
with
with this.
traveling with
Traveling
Jorge,
with Jorge,
oh,
yeah.
so
Sorry.
if you guys want to check all of this amazing, amazing tour, go to Jorge's website, which is travelingwithjorge.com. Okay,
Correct.
Jorge, thank you so much for enlightening us this week. It's been a great pleasure. I've learned big time this week.
Thank you.
So thank you. I don't know if you want to add anything else about pirates, buccaneers, or whatever.
Well, I think I just said enough. I could stay here for the entire day talking about how the history is history and is what happened in those days. Okay. But let me just add something here. There is such a black legend written about Spanish history together with the British empire that they've been fighting constantly through history. But that's the way it is. And that's the way that now is giving us a chance to talk about this curiosities and these things, despite what people might, those narrow vision people, they think that, oh no, the greatest of the British Empire, oh no, the greatest of the Spanish crown. Come on, guys. We're in the 21st century. Accept things as they are. And here we are having a great time. And you and me, with our conversations and everything, is just explaining everything in this way. And of course, Francisco, thank you so much for coping with me and everybody else out there. Thank you.
Everybody, Jorge, thank you so much. We shall see you next week. Everybody, it's been a great pleasure having you this week. And remember, please, if you have enjoyed this podcast, give us a thumb up on any platform. And please subscribe. That helps us so much positioning our podcast up there so more people can enjoy our talks and hopefully fall in love with our country, which is what the aim of this podcast is all about.
Correct.
Jorge, thank you very much.
Thank you, Francisco, everybody.
Adios, amigos. See you next week.
And as usual, we want to thank all our listeners for being there every week, letting us sharing our talks. Follow us in Spanish Loops in Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite platform.
And in Instagram, you can find us as the Spanish Loops Podcast, no spaces, all together. If you want to find us the quickest way, just Google Spanish Loops Podcast and you will find us. Hasta la vista, amigos.
See you next week.